Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Steve. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to Cricket Explained for baseball fans. Now, I don't know anything at all about cricket. Obviously, I've heard of the sport of cricket, but I've never seen it played. I don't know anyone who plays cricket. I'm not even sure if they actually play cricket in the US at all. I've never heard about it being played here. Let me know in the comments if they do actually play cricket here in the US, because I've literally never known anyone who played cricket here. Now, I do know that in the UK, cricket is a fairly popular sport. I'm not sure where it falls in popularity amongst rugby and football, but from what I understand, quite a few cricket fans live in the UK. I believe cricket is actually originally from England, so that would make sense if that's the case. But guys, like I said, I know nothing about cricket, but I've had a lot of people in the comments section ask me to check this out over the last few months. And this particular video was actually recommended by a subscriber from the UK. So I think this will be very interesting and give me a good overview about what cricket is all about. But it says here, Cricket Explained for baseball fans. I generally know what the game of baseball is about. You know, I grew up playing baseball. I'm not really a Major League Baseball fan, but I do love to go to my local stadium in the summer and watch the local amateur team or local minor league team play. That's a lot of fun, mostly because I enjoy the atmosphere more than the game itself, but I do enjoy seeing the game as well. But my favorite sport is obviously basketball, as I've mentioned on other videos about sports. But like I said, I do enjoy seeing some baseball being played. But for me, generally speaking, I'm not a huge professional sports fan. And I'm sure there are amateur cricket leagues throughout, or minor league cricket leagues throughout the UK and other countries. But I'm not sure if we're going to be talking specifically about the major leagues here, professional, or if this is going to be just all around, just cricket in general. But yeah, guys, don't know really what to expect here. So let's just go ahead and dive in and check out Cricket Explained for baseball fans.
Cricket Explained if you already know baseball.
All right. To get this started, I want you to imagine a game much like baseball, except there are only two bases, and they're basically where home plate is and where the pitcher's mound is. To score a run in this game, you simply have to reach the next base. So if you put the ball in play and you make it to the pitcher's mound, that's a run. And then if you're able to make it back to home plate, then you score 2 runs on that play. This game is played in the middle of an oval, so there's no foul area. You can hit the ball behind you, you can hit it to the side or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And in this game, the pitchers are allowed to bounce the ball. If you can picture this game in your mind, you are 75% of the way to understanding cricket. The rest of it is...
Oh, that's so cool, actually. So you've got a round circle and you can hit the ball anywhere. So what happens if you hit what we would call in baseball a home run? You just knock it out of the park. I guess, do you still just get 2 runs for that? And so I'm also curious what happens if you get to the plate that the pitcher's at, or the base that the pitcher's at, and they throw the ball back to him before you can get back to home plate. I mean, if you understand what I'm saying. I'm not sure of all the lingo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Plate versus base, home plate. I don't know yet, but are you going to stand with the pitcher or near the pitcher until the next batter comes up and hits the ball, and then you're going to come run back and get your second run? Or are you considered out at that point? And I noticed that they actually had flat bats, which is really interesting. It almost looked kind of like, I got to go back and see. Well, it'll probably show us. I want to see how wide that bat is. It definitely looks a little bit wider than the bats I'm used to in baseball.
Details. Before we get started, I just want to say that I'm going to be explaining this like I would to a friend of mine who knows baseball and wants to know about cricket. I'm probably going to be switching between baseball and cricket terminology a little bit more freely than maybe somebody who's a hardcore cricket fan might be comfortable with. Feel free to correct me in the comments, but what might be more fun is if you made a companion video that explains baseball in reverse. All right, let's get started.
Basic gameplay.
So cricket is a game played between two teams of 11 players. When a team is fielding, all 11 of its players are on the field at the same time. 9 players are out in the field at the various positions, and then there's one bowler, who is basically the pitcher, and one wicketkeeper, who is basically the catcher. And then the team that is batting has 2 players at bat.
Hold on, guys. I just want to see this bat. The bat looks wild, man. This almost looks like it was just like straight up just carved out of like a 2x4 almost. I can't tell how large it is really from here. It looks pretty large though, like pretty wide. So all 11 players for a team are on the field at the same time. You got 9 of them fielding. So they're waiting basically like they're kind of like the outfielders in baseball, and they're waiting for the ball to be hit in whatever direction so they can run and get it and throw it back to the pitcher or throw it back to the home plate as you're running. It honestly, from plate to plate, it really didn't seem that long of a distance, but obviously the video could be playing, it could not do justice for how long it is. It just looked fairly short from what I would expect it to be. Because I imagine if you hit the ball like out, way on out, to the fence or something like that, based off the distance I was saying, it didn't look like it would take that long for the person to run up to one plate and run back. But I could be wrong. But wait, is this wow? Okay. I also, one thing that I noticed is how large. Is that the score? No, that can't be the score. 115-0, that can't be the score. But this may be 50-62, 0-16. Those are really large scores really large scores compared to what you'd see in a baseball game, which, maybe, 3-1 or something like that,
At any given time. These batters stand at opposite ends of the pitch, which is a narrow rectangle that's in the middle of the oval that is the cricket field. At the ends of the pitch are 2 wickets, which are these little structures that have 3 stumps and 2 bails. The stumps are the 3 pieces of wood that are in the ground, and the bails are these 2 little pieces of wood that rest on top of the stumps. A play begins when the bowler, which is basically the pitcher, bowls the ball to the batter. The bowler
and they also can just bounce the ball. Okay.
Is ultimately trying to break the wicket, which would get the batter out, and more on that later. The batter is trying to protect the wicket and put the ball in play.
So it's not even about like, I want to hit this as hard as possible so I can go get a home run. This is basically, he's literally trying to protect the wicket. Isn't that what he called it? And so that is why they would bounce the ball, because they can bounce it and hit that wicket, I guess is what it's called. Okay. This seems fun, man. This really seems like a really fun game. It seems more fast-paced than baseball by a lot.
Ball is put in play, and the batter and the teammate are able to switch places. So basically, assume the other one's position. The team has scored a run. And if they can do that again, then they score 2. And if they can do that again, they score 3, etc. There are no strikes in cricket. The batter can just choose not to swing if they don't want to. And there's no penalty for hitting a batter with a legally thrown ball. Batters are expected to protect the wicket and not let themselves get hit. In fact, as we'll see in a little bit, there are actually situations where a batter can be called out if they allow themselves to be hit with the ball. There is the equivalent of a ball in cricket. It's called a wide. And if the umpire has determined that the bowler has bowled the ball wide, 1 run is awarded to the batting team. There's also something in cricket called a no ball, which is when the umpire has determined that the ball has been delivered illegally. And there's a couple dozen different reasons why an umpire might call a no ball. If the umpire calls...
Hold on. This gives me an idea of how long the field is. What would you call this? I don't know if he said it, like between the 2 bases. It's not, the field itself is the whole, whole round circle, but like what is this plate to plate thing called? 22 yards. All right. So that's like, it's just over a fifth of a football field. American football field. All right. I mean, that's a decent. That's longer than it looked like. Okay, this is interesting. I can see, like, is this where baseball come from? I can see that being the case. I can see this being the beginnings of baseball, and it just completely transformed into something, well, what baseball is today. But it wouldn't surprise me if this is where baseball began. I mean, he said cricket is playing for baseball fans as well as the title, so that would make a lot of sense.
If the umpire calls a no ball, just like a wide, 1 run is awarded to the batting team. In cricket, the batters stay on the field until they are out. So they continue to bat and score runs until they are put out.
Are you serious?
This means that, just like in baseball, a batter can be out with one single swing of the bat, or they can stay at bat, I guess forever. But it's common for a batter to score between like 20 and 50 runs in an at-bat, and it's not unheard of for a batter to hit 100. This is called...
Are you serious? That's crazy. How many points are you going to have in a cricket, I guess a cricket match or a cricket game? I'm thinking cricket match. I think I've heard that. But like, that's wild. So could you literally have hundreds of runs in a match? And one thing I want to say, it looks like the batter puts on, I guess that's what you call them, puts on a protective shin guard down here. And it also seems like no one really has gloves. I mean, like the gloves are different. They're like thinner gloves. I still haven't seen how large this ball is. I can't tell if it's larger than a baseball or smaller than a baseball. I have a feeling it's smaller than a baseball.
The century, and
but I don't
it's
know for
very
sure.
fun.
The boundary.
Along the perimeter of the cricket field is the boundary. This can be a rope or a little cushion type thing, or it could be a short fence or a wall. When a ball is put in play and it reaches or goes past the boundary,
That's what I was wondering.
that is called a boundary. A ball that rolls and hits or passes the boundary or bounces over the boundary like a ground rule double is worth 4 runs for the batting team. A ball that is hit over the boundary, so basically like a home run, is worth 6 runs for the batting team.
Oh, wow. So so you do still want to get a home run, technically, because it literally means you're going to get 6 runs at once. And if you just happen to hit it over that little boundary, or if it just bounces over, hits and bounces over, you're going to get 4 runs for that. Okay. So, now it makes more sense to me why you would want to hit it really far if possible. All right. This really seems like a really fun game. It seems so much more fast-paced than baseball.
Outs.
There are several ways that a batter or runner can get put out in cricket, and they boil down to 2 basic categories. A batter can be caught out, which is just like baseball. They hit a ball in the air and a fielder catches it. Or they can be out if the fielding team knocks the bails off the stumps of the wicket when you are in a position where that can put you out. There's a few different ways this could happen. You could be run out. This is where you are trying to score a run, but they knock the ball into the wicket before you reach the crease that defines the place where you are safe. By the way, the bat is part of your body when determining whether or not you are safe.
So it's not so much about you have to, touch the batter, touch the person who's running, right? You got to hit this stump off. That's the whole thing. Now I really get it even more. Like they really are trying to protect this. I forgot the name of it. They're trying to protect this even when they're running. Like, okay, that makes total sense. That just makes a lot of sense. All right, so this whole square here is technically the plate. It's the base, and as long as he gets his bat over that line before they hit these things with the ball, then he is safe and he's got another run. All right.
You can be bowled out, and these are very exciting. This is where the bowler sends the ball to you, and the ball bounces past you and knocks the bails off the stumps. The batter can also be put out by the wicketkeeper if the batter moves past this line here called the popping crease, and the wicketkeeper gains possession of the ball and knocks the bails off the stumps. This is called being stumped out. A batter can also be called out if they allow the ball to hit them and the umpire determines that the ball would have knocked the bails off the stumps
on
if
purpose.
the batter had not interfered with their body.
Okay.
This is called a leg before wicket. So those are the most common ways that you will see a batter or runner get put out by the fielding team. There are several other much less common ways for a batter to get out, and we will not be getting into them here. One major difference between baseball and cricket is in cricket, if the fielding team thinks that they have gotten a batter or runner out, they first have to appeal to the umpire who will confirm whether or not the batter or runner is out. So if a batter or runner would be out, but no one on the fielding team notices it, then play just continues and the umpire will not just call them out. When a player is put out, the bowling and fielding team is said to have taken the wicket and the batting and running team is said to have lost a wicket.
Overs.
Each series of 6 pitches or deliveries, which are called balls, is called an over. Each over has only one bowler, and each bowler only bowls one over at a time. So after a bowler has delivered 6 balls, they take a position in the field, and another player comes in to be the bowler for the next over. A bowler.
All right, guys, sorry for pausing so much, but I'm trying to really get this. I just realized something that I'm not really sure what's going on with this. Okay, so basically, you got the batter here, right here, and this is a guy on his team, 53. Then, the pink is one team, the red here is the other team, for example. Now, obviously, the red is pitching, right, or bowling, and so you got all 11 of that team's players on the field at one time, right? They're fielding, trying to basically get this man out. Where are the other, if there's 11, where are the other 9 of the pink? They're obviously not fielding as well. Are they just waiting for their turn to bat? Are they just hanging out in the what we would call the dugout in baseball? I'm just curious, where are they sitting at right now? What are they doing? They're just waiting, I'm guessing. And I'm guessing this guy is waiting for this guy to finish, and he's going to be up next. I don't know. The rules are quite different from baseball. I see this within baseball, but it's majorly different. So there's quite a few things to learn here.
Can field for an over and then come back to bowl again, but a bowler may not bowl 2 consecutive overs. If you're comparing this all to baseball, overs are similar to individual at-bats in terms of the flow of the game.
Dude,
right? It's like
man,
one series of deliveries that everyone's watching, and then there's a brief pause while a new player comes on, and then there's a next set of deliveries that everyone's watching. The difference, of course, is that it's the bowlers, the pitchers that are coming in and out, and not the batters.
Formats.
Beyond everything that has been explained so far, the majority of the details of the game that you watch will depend on the format of cricket that you're watching. There are 2 basic formats of the game of cricket. There's first class cricket and there's limited overs cricket. First class cricket is what a lot of people think of when they think of cricket. We're talking about the games that go on for several days. Everyone is wearing white.
No.
Maybe the Queen shows up. And first class.
The games can go on for days? Wow. Well, I mean, obviously, I know they literally stop and then they continue the next day. They don't just go 24 hours a day until it stops, probably. But that's wild. A game can just go on for days. I don't know any sport ever. I've never seen a sport that the game literally goes on for days. That's wild, man.
Class cricket is most associated with the 5-day-long test matches that international teams play against one another. They're scheduled for 5 days, but they might be completed before that. At the beginning of the first day, there is a coin toss to determine which team goes first, and then the sides alternate going through their entire batting order. This happens twice, so each team goes through its batting order twice for a total of 4 innings. Unless the team that goes second scores more runs than the team that went first, in which case they don't have to actually finish their entire innings. They just win the game. That was very simplified. The rules governing test matches could be their own 15-minute video. The other format of cricket is limited overs cricket, where each team is limited to a certain number of overs, and each innings comes to an end when the specified number of overs has been reached or when all of the batters are out, whichever comes first. There are several types of limited overs cricket, but there are two that you are most likely to see. The first of these are the one-day internationals, or ODI. These are played between national teams, and each team has 50 overs.
600
and then there's
deliveries
also
per inning?
T20 cricket, which is 20-20 cricket, where both teams get only 20 overs. This style of cricket was invented to be more exciting and more fast-paced, and to put the length of an individual match around the same as other common sporting events around the world. An easy way to know whether you're watching a test match or a limited overs match is whether the teams are wearing white or colors. And if you are watching a professional match, you're almost definitely watching a T20 match.
Scorekeeping.
All right.
Oh my goodness, guys. So am I accurate in understanding this, that you literally, now, one cricket type is shorter than the other. One goes on for days potentially, and the other is going to go on quite a bit less than that. But either way, if you go watch a cricket match, you're literally going to go and be there pretty much all day, is what it sounds like. I mean, this is going to be like an all-day event, man. I'm not used to sports like that. Usually sports, I'm used to games that, I don't know, couple hours, maybe 3-4 hours, depending on what kind of game you're at. But like basketball, for example, I'm used to just a couple hours. Baseball is usually a little bit longer than that, maybe 4 hours or so. That's insane. That's crazy. I'd love to go to one of these. It looks like a lot of fun. It really does.
Pay attention, because this is maybe the most confusing part of all of this.
The most?
The scorekeeping. So at the bottom of the screen, you'll see it says India, and then it says 118 for 5. This does not mean that the score is 118 runs to 5 runs. No, this means that India has scored 118 runs for 5 wickets, which means that 5 of their batters have been put out. Then it says first innings. So this is the first innings of this match. Then it says England 287. So that's how many runs England scored in their innings. And since this is a test match, both teams will play 2 innings. Then you've got information about the 2 batsmen that are currently up and how many runs they've scored so far. Then at the end, it says Broad 0 for 24. This means that Broad, the bowler, has taken 0 wickets so far and has allowed 24 runs. Okay. And then the 15 o'clock over there, that's just the time of the day. It's 3 p.m. For a limited overs match, there's a little bit more information that you need to know. So here you go. Down at the bottom, it says England. This is another game between England and India.
103.
So it says England 103 for 4. So that means that they've scored 103 runs
in 4 innings.
4 wickets.
Or 4 wickets.
P2, don't worry about what that means yet. Then it says 24.3 of 50. That means that we are 24 overs and 3 deliveries into this innings. And then the 50 means that this innings will have at most 50 overs, right? Because this is a one-day international. Then it says target 222. This means that India went first and scored 222 runs. So that's how many runs England has to score to win.
These are
and from there, it's pretty much the same as the test match we just saw. Just be careful, because if you're watching an Australian broadcast, the scores are reversed. And the wickets are first and the runs are second. So on this one, it says Ren, that's the Renegades, that's one of the teams, 5 for 135. So it's 5 wickets for 135 runs. So just be careful, it might be confusing.
Some final similarities and differences.
All right, that's basically it. I thought that we would end this video with a few more similarities and differences between baseball and cricket. One major difference is that in cricket, if a ball is in play, the runners are not compelled to move, right? You only run if you think you can make a run. One similarity is that every cricket ground has different dimensions and a different shape. And much like in baseball, this means that certain cricket grounds are more favorable or less favorable to different play styles. Another difference is that in cricket, the positions refer to places on the field.
What? Dude, this is insane. Wow. All right. Wow.
and not necessarily the individual fielders. So if baseball had a similar thing, like you would not be the shortstop for your team. You would just be a fielder who would be playing shortstop position.
For a
and then
period of
if your
time.
team was in a shift or whatever, maybe you would be said that you were in the second base position. Or maybe for one batter, you would be in the shallow mid outfield position, right? Another similarity is that in cricket, players' on-field and off-the-field behavior is governed by an old-fashioned sense of propriety that's not unlike the unwritten rules in baseball. And the final difference that's probably become clear to you as you watch this video is that cricket is a much more international game than baseball. I don't mean to say that it is more popular in more countries than baseball, although this might also be true.
I think
what I mean by
probably
this
is.
is that international competitions, so competitions between national teams, are the norm. They're not like a special thing that everyone tunes into every 4 years.
Wow, nice
Professional
catch,
cricket
dude.
is a relatively new phenomenon in the world. And while leagues are becoming much more popular these days, it wasn't very long ago that professional cricket was looked upon as diluting the purity of the game. All right, baseball fan, you have just become a cricket master and you are ready to watch any cricket game that comes across your television. If you are a cricket fan and you notice that I got something wrong, which I probably have, or that I left something out, which I probably did, feel free to let me know in the comments.
All right, guys. This was a great explanation. I came into this not knowing anything about cricket, and now I feel like I could probably watch a cricket match and at least somewhat understand it. You know, there seems to be so many differences between cricket and baseball to the point that there's no way just on this one video I would be able to fully master understanding cricket, you know, as someone coming in for the first time looking at this. But a great start of understanding from this. It looks like a really fun game. You know, the only thing I know of cricket is that it is, you know, it's something that was popular in the UK. I didn't even know it was that popular international, but it seems to be, based off I'm seeing India and Australia and a number of other countries, it seems to be fairly popular. Maybe in more Commonwealth countries, I'm guessing it probably spread out with the British Empire a little bit. I'm guessing. I think it did come out of Britain, if I'm not mistaken. I know that cricket seems to be popular with in England specifically, from what I understand, a little bit I know. But this is wild, guys. I can't believe how high the points go. I'd love to know how are the runs. I guess the runs, points, pretty much the same thing. I'd be curious to know, like, how high do these matches get? I mean, literally, do they sometimes get up to like, 600, 700, 800, or even 1,000? I mean, I'm looking at this first inning here for, I can't remember who this was, but 222 runs in their first inning. That's crazy. That's insane. I've never seen a sport like that. But yeah, this looks like a lot of fun. And it looks like that's another weird thing. Like the shape of the fields change. That's wild, guys. But yeah, looks like a fun game. I want to see some I kind of want to check out some highlights and stuff for cricket, like see some of the really cool plays and whatnot. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but feel free to drop some in the comments if you think I'd like to check it out. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments, suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Till next time, guys, peace.